Hello everyone, this is Rahul Ambedkar Ayyambadan. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So, guys, I saw an interview of Raghuram Rajan along with Rahul Gandhi, and it was one of the most brilliant interviews I've seen recently. And the interview was on the topic economic crisis faced by India during this quarantine period, and what will be the condition after that. So that topic is really important. I'll tell you why. Because the corona issue not only happened to to affect the health sector and only the people, but also it wasn't the condition of the world economy itself. The trade was screwed up and everything was screwed up, and we all know the condition of America right now. They are having a lot of death toll along with their economy getting screwed up. So with that being said, this interview was something which was a need of hour. And all before getting into that details of that interview, I would like to appreciate our doctors, our nurses, our health professionals, our housekeeping staff, our every persons who were like, including the police officials who are out on the streets for our safety. I would like to appreciate their effort, their service to us, which is like priceless, and I really appreciate them, being there for us so that we can stay safe in our home. So I really appreciate them from the bottom of my heart. So, guys, let's get into this video. So, we all know that during this quarantine period, we have lost our loved ones. Many of us lost our, jobs. We are not sure whether we will be having our jobs when we get back to our office or get back to wherever we work. So we are not sure about that, and most of us are out of cash right now because most of us don't have that kind of savings, and we are just surviving with whatever we have, and we are borrowing from others who can lend us, and many of us are running out of cash. We all know that the situation is very bad, and we all know the situation of ourselves, right? So we have to think about our economy also. So before quarantine, before this whole thing happened, we know the situation in our country, right? India was in the worst condition before corona happened, through demonetization, through GST issue. These two things screwed up the entire economy of India, and those two decisions which was made by the government was utter stupid decisions. Let's admit it, guys, because you see, we have different political ideologies. You may call me leftist or liberando or whatever, just call me anything, but that is a hard fact, and we have to admit it. Whether you are supporting the governing party or opposing the governing party, that doesn't matter. We have to accept the hard fact which concerns the nation. Okay, so our economy was in the worst condition ever before corona happened, and during the corona, no production is happening right now, and me, you, and everybody other than the health professionals, police officers, and some authorities, everybody is locked up, including the MPs, the MLAs, and everybody. And only few are working. So we have to know the seriousness of this condition. So if the economy of ours, which is not having enough money, and the GDP before Corona was the worst. Okay, so a nation like that, with that kind of a situation, with that kind of a GDP, with that kind of a very low growth rate, goes through a condition of this sort of uncertainty, and happens to be for this long in lockdown with no production, will be having a lot of loss. And as our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, has said that our people's health, the citizens' health, is more important than the economy, and we are doing our best to take care of the citizen. We are not worrying about the number of losses or whatever the amount is being spent. We are not bothered about that, which is a great thing, because if you consider the other states like US and all, they are not properly doing the lockdown and all, which is giving them the death toll to get increased. So I really appreciate that effort, but we have to also consider the fact that we have to get back to our stage, because before corona we have the worst condition, and it will be worse than ever after corona also. So you cannot expect after the quarantine period is over, we'll be having 100% recovery rate. The virus may or may not be there. The intensity will be reduced or completely recovered, but the economy will be worse than ever, and many of us will be losing the job. So as Raghuram Rajan through this interview has said that we have to think over this issue seriously and we have to think out of the box. So according to him, through this interview, he said that 65,000 crore rupees should be spent on people so that it will be reaching the ground root level, so that issues like the what happened with the migrant labor getting migrated from their working place to their native land on foot, that too hundreds of kilometers on that humid condition, will not happen, because that sort of condition is showing that the efforts put by our government, put by whether the state or government, that really doesn't matter until and unless it reaches the common people, right? And you also should consider the fact that the daily laborers who are left with nothing, no, of savings at all, how they survive, the supplies which is given to them is not enough. And we have to consider the other side of the story also, which is recovering the economy after this incident. So this issue is a very big thing, and we have to consider the facilities we have. We are running out of supplies, we are running out of medical facility, we don't have those sort of issues. So we, in order to fight against this corona virus itself, we have to spend a lot of money, which we should be generating in our country, because we cannot lend it from UN or from International Monetary Fund, because everybody is facing this issue and we cannot lend it from anybody. So we have to think over it, and we have to be self-independent, as Raghuram Rajan has said, that we have to be independent so that we can be ready for these sort of situations, whether it's a natural calamity, whether it's a pandemic, whether it's a bio war, as many people said. We have to be ready for everything so that we will not be the worst hit by the this sort of an issue. And for that, I think decentralization of power is very necessary, because the if the power is struck with a particular section of the society, let's say it's within the union territory, or whether it's union government or within the state government, or whether it's within a particular section of the bureaucrats, it doesn't really have to be there, because the power should come to the people, though, through panchayat and all. The supply should be there, and the decision which is implemented on the central level should be carried out throughout the state level, and there should be a proper coordination between this state and federal, rather than clashing over the things. And it was not there during this time, but there was some issues also which should have been avoided. And in order to do that, we have to strengthen the the system by decentralizing the power, and also getting the people more into the democratic system, so that it will be transparent and it will be more democratic in nature, and the government also will work properly with ease. Okay, so with that being said, whether the 65,000 crore, that whether that money is huge or not, as Raghuram Rajan has said, it's not huge when you compare it with the GDP of India per annum. So we have a GDP of 200 lakh crore per year, which is a good amount, and we should be spending that amount. We should be spending 65,000 crore out of that 200 lakh crore, so that we can be able to recover from it. And we should also consider the factor that there are some issues, there are some jobs which can be which is very productive and which can be carried out easily without having this virus to get spread. So that sort of jobs should be get priority and should be carried out, so that the production will be there, the revenue will be generated, and we'll be able to treat the corona patients and get this thing out of our system. And also after this period is over, we will be able to have some revenue, so that we will be able to continue with our work. So what should be the initiatives we should be considering? So we should consider the proper guidelines which the WHO has told us. We should be considering the guidelines of our health professionals. So we should be implementing that. We should be implementing social distancing, social awareness should be there, and we should not allow the people in the same work sector to have a small gathering happening within the office. There should be a proper system by which the to and fro of the transportation happens, and if they come by their private vehicle, that's good, but they have to be a system where they are not coming congested,ly and they have to be proper checkup and all. And also, in order to fight this corona issue, we have to implement rapid testing, which by which, according to Rajan, the testing of over 1 million people per day should be implemented, and we are doing around 25 to 26,000 tests per day, which will take a lot of time. But the thing is that we have to increase our scale of testing, so that we'll be able to reach, because we have a huge population which we have to deal. And considering the amount of slums, the intensity of the situation, the intensity of the population, and also the if an outbreak happens, which is under control right now, but the situation is under control. But if an outbreak happens, we will not be able to control it right now, and we can see the situation in Mumbai and all right now. The Maharashtra government is very worst hit in the recent days because of some serious mistakes which should have been avoided. So we saw the price right now. We saw the price, and we are seeing the issue getting worse there. So with that being said, what should we do to get this out of the system? So in order to recover the economy, as he said, we have to implement those things, and we have to move according to that. And we cannot expect 100% recovery from the removal of lockdown, because once this thing is over, again this thing will happen, and there will be a lot of issues happening out there, and we have to face it. And we all know that there was some ideological differences between Dr. Raghuram Rajan and the central government during the time of demonetization, because he was not ready to implement demonetization, and he said that it will be a big mistake towards our economy, and he was supposed to leave the office because of that differences of opinion with the central government during the regarding that issue. So we all know that what happened after that, and even Urjit Patel also said that it was a mistake from the government side. And let's not get it dive into that. Okay, so difference in opinion between the between Rajan and with the central government, but we have to consider the fact that he's a brilliant mind and one of the most efficient person to deal with this issue, because he worked with the International Monetary Fund. A person like him voluntarily offering help even before when the issue was started. He reached back from US to India, and he was offering help, and the government denied it, or they were neglecting it. And I don't get the point. Why? Because our economy is worst hit, the production is not there. So how will you recover from it? So if an expert like him is offering help, so we should consider it. Let's not get politics into this. Okay, so we should consider three very important facts, like we should not fight over politics or religion or whatever issues are happen issues have happened before the corona, so that we can rebuild a great nation. And we should also consider these factors, like other countries are doing right now, because US is not implement have not implemented proper quarantine lockdown, and by which they are having a huge death toll. And in the case of other countries like UK President Boris Johnson, who did a stupid thing by interacting the with the crowd. He got infected by the virus, and he, after getting infected, realized the importance of this situation. And now let's admit the fact that it was a mistake, but it was a serious mistake from the from the prime minister's end, because UK prime minister should be a responsible person, and he did a stupid thing by which he got infected. And I'm not offending him, but I'm just saying a fact which may hurt many people, but it's a fact. And through that issue, after that issue happened, the UK government made lockdown, made restrictions, and they were able to recover from it. So until and unless you see the conditions, the the worst thing happening in our country, we cannot wait till that, and we have a very big number of population uh, which we cannot risk upon. So we have to think about it. And the Brazilian president doing stupid things like just removing the lockdown, or they are not implementing the lockdown, and he's arranging the mass gathering, and he's just in the gathering he's just sneezing, coughing, and everything, and the condition will be worse there, and they don't have any proper facility also, medical facility also out there. With that being said, we are doing great, but we should also consider the fact that we have to recover from it. So people like Raghuram Rajan, people like Abhijit Banerjee, and experts like him should be on the panel, should be on board, so that we can recover from it through their expert opinion, and we should be implementing these things. And we should also consider other issues that happening in our country, whether it's CAA or NRC. We should postpone those things which is less relevant in this situation, so that we can focus more on rebuilding the nation, so that we can recover from the worst hit condition, so that we can make best of it out of it. If we are able to do that, then only we'll be able to recover from it completely. Otherwise, we'll be worst hit. India being a global leader in the corona pandemic, showing the world that we can do wonderful things with this huge population, and we have shown them that this issue can be sorted out and solved and controlled. And still, if we are not able to control our economy, what will the world think? So we have to come with this thing in mind, and we have to set aside our ego, and bring back Raghuram. Why the government or the officials are hesitating against it? So we have to bring back him. We have to give him the opportunity to use his knowledge for the betterment of our future, for the betterment of our nation, so that we'll be able to recover from it, and we'll be able to get stronger, and we'll be moving towards a better economy, because the condition is worse right now, and we have to give it to the expert people, so that we'll be able to recover from it. And if you have any difference of opinion, you are feel free to comment down below, so that we'll be able to do a healthy discussion over this topic. And I'll be making a video again after once the government made its decision. And yeah, you can share whatever opinion you have in the comment box below. And I'll see you soon in the next video. Peace.